A Dose of Health is here to bring you information, inspiration, and actionable insights in 15 minutes or less from New Jerseyans in the health and wellness space who are experts in their field. I'm Kate Cherichello Tente, a certified fitness professional and host of Healthy in the Garden State. This A Dose of Health mini-series is a part of our mission to bring you as many health resources as we can. These episodes and everything from the Healthy in the Garden State brand may be found at healthyinthegardenstate.com. Today's guest is Francesca Oldendorp, a bilingual speech-language pathologist and founder of Mobile Speech and Cognitive Services, LLC, where she helps children and adults overcome speech, language, and cognitive communication challenges. She has experience working with individuals across the lifespan, with a particular emphasis on pediatric speech and language development. So, Francesca, before we dive into the how and why of speech and language therapy, tell me about your decision to become a speech language pathologist and how it brought you to creating your own business as well.
So in college, I knew that I wanted to really work with children, but not so much be in the school setting. So I kind of explored different options. And when I took my first course in speech therapy, I kind of knew that this is what I wanted to do. And I explored the different avenues. We have a very large scope of practice, and there are many settings where we can be. And that was really attractive to me at the time because you could be in a school, but you could also be private. You could be in a hospital. You could be in, a skilled nursing facility. So I liked the options that were given in the field. And I started out setting of private practice, which I loved, but slowly started to realize that I kind of just wanted to be in a more intimate private setting. So I started that on the side with a different company, and it was wonderful. Had a great experience and did that from the beginning, and then moved into healthcare in a outpatient hospital setting. And I focused on cognitive rehabilitation, which is wonderful. And I loved my experience there. But unfortunately, it was during COVID. I had, COVID burnout that many clinicians have experienced. So that's when I decided to transition into full-time private home care. And I've been in this setting ever since.
And that's a lot of different avenues. Like you said, there's the scope of practice is big. Like already you've already gotten to experience so many of them. That's a really neat thing that a lot of careers I don't feel like have.
It's certainly
And
unique. Lots of other therapists have that option, but I definitely felt like it was something that could always make it interesting.
And what sort of goals and strategies do you use to help clients? Kind of like what is the basics of what you do and that breakdown of all the different services you can be a part of?
Sure. So, in a really quick nutshell, a speech therapist helps with communication. So, communicating whether it's verbal, whether it's through a device, whether it's gestures, or just learning how to speak with babies. We help others communicate and understand language as well as use it properly in different settings. So we are able to use different strategies depending on what the client's goals are or what their needs are. Some of the things that I particularly use often in the home setting is I try to always incorporate the family into my setting and into my sessions because I find that speech therapy is great, but what about after I leave? Who's going to be there to continue this treatment and this care until the next time I come and we focus on something different? So, one of the largest strategies, goals that I always have is to get some support, whether it's from the family, from teachers, other therapists, neighbors, friends, whoever wants to be part of this care plan. I find that it's really beneficial to have a team. So I try to use that with children or adults.
Yeah. And it might not always be clear. So, what are some of the signs that a child or an adult might need speech therapy?
So let's start with the children. Sometimes, you're at the park and you might see a child that's a similar age as your child and maybe observe the way that they're communicating or they're interacting with other kids, and kind of like alarms go off in your head, like, my kid doesn't really do that, or I'm not really noticing that at home. I always say that mom gut or dad gut, like your parent gut feeling, is never wrong. So you just have to go with it. And then once you kind of experience some of these interactions or you have some of these ideas, you can go to your doctor, you can ask your teacher. Those are two really great sources for referrals. And you can get more information on how to seek out an evaluation. I know for my company specifically, we always provide free screeners. So if somebody has like that gut feeling, but they're not really sure if their child could benefit, you can call us. We get you in for a free, it's a 10-minute screener, and that will let you know whether or not an evaluation would be beneficial. For adults, it's a little bit more clear cut because usually adults experience some sort of communication issue after some sort of event. So whether that be a stroke or a traumatic brain injury, sometimes they're diagnosed with some sort of disease or ailment that means that they will have or need a speech therapist in the future. So they kind of know already that they're on this path for communication rehabilitation. But same thing, if you feel like there's something wrong or something used to be easy and now it's not, it's always a good idea to seek out some sort of speech therapist to give you answers.
And that's great that someone can do a consultation as well, just to no stress, just get it checked
Mm-hmm.
out first and see. That's excellent. Now, can you give the breakdown of how your company works? Because I know it's mobile and that's a different experience. And I think it'll be interesting both from the standpoint of a potential patient, but also from someone who might be considering making their own business mobile.
Absolutely. I find that clients achieve better in the comfort of their own home because they're already comfortable in that setting. They're surrounded by their parents or their family. So you kind of cut out the new environment issue that happens if you go to a clinical setting. And I find that not having my own space allows me to incorporate their interests more. So, of course, me and my team will always bring our own materials, but if the child is really into this particular truck, we can use that truck in our session to enable him to feel more comfortable or build more language, create longer sentences of interest. Anything like that is going to be such a positive reinforcement in that session.
Excellent. And can you share with us some summer specific strategies that parents could utilize to help their child's speech and language development?
Absolutely. This is my favorite thing to talk about. On our Instagram page, we always post lots of ideas, seasonal specific or holiday specific. So, one of my favorite tools for the summer are bubbles. And if you use bubbles to target articulation skills, which is just the pronunciation of sounds, you can make a list of different words that you use. So, let's say you want to work on the word P. You could say pop bubbles or bubbles, please, something like that. But if you're working on language and building up that repertoire of expressive output and what your child can say, you can have them request by saying bubbles, please. You can have them create longer utterances by first starting with just bubbles and then more bubbles and then more bubbles, please. You can have them talk about what sound they make or what they look like, round, wet, different descriptors to really help build word retrieval and just different language abilities. Bubbles are great for so many things and they're so easy. And I feel like everybody has access to a bubble here or there. So they're a great tool for the summer.
Great. And it's having a toddler myself, like there's nothing like a child's eyes and how they see the world to really help us as adults see the world in detail, talking about those
Yes.
things that we overlook, like a bubble popping or the ant crawling and all of that. Any other ideas that you'd like to share for the summer for parents?
Creating word lists that are specific to places that you frequent. So the park, the beach, the lake, anywhere that you go is going to be super beneficial because it's relevant. if you make it relevant to your life, it's fun, it's engaging, and your kid's going to pick it up more. So if you have, difficulty, if a child has difficulty with the S sound, let's say, and you're going to the beach, maybe saying, oh, let's play in the sand, or let's find a starfish, or look at the ocean with the S sound in the middle. Really kind of elaborating on and emphasizing these S sounds at this particular beach. It would be super beneficial and fun.
Love it. Well, in New Jersey, we have lots of beaches and ocean opportunities. So, excellent idea.
We
And
sure
I like
do.
that visual of writing up a list and then incorporating those words throughout the day. That's a great idea. Francesca, how can people connect with you and follow you on Instagram and learn more?
Absolutely. So I'm sure you have all of my info, and you can find us on Instagram at mobile speech cog, and we post all the time about different ideas. And there's also a highlight there with all of our information. So you can email us, you can call us, and I'm pretty good at getting back to people within 24 hours. And if you have concerns, if you just want to chat because you're not sure, that's also an option. I mean, I talk to parents all the time that are just kind of on the fence, and that's why we offer those free screeners. If you're not sure, it's 10 minutes. We come to you and let you know if it's worth, going down the evaluation path. But it's also great if you just need a refresh. There are a lot of kids that were in speech therapy that now are out of speech therapy, but still need a couple of refresher sessions. We do that as well. And we offer a great summer refresh program before the beginning of the school year to kind of help with that summer regression.
Great. Francesca, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing the overview of speech therapy and also some great ideas for parents to work on this summer too. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to click that subscribe button. And if you know someone who would enjoy this episode, please do share it with them. If you'd like to connect or have ideas of subjects that you would like covered in future episodes, reach out anytime at healthyinthegardenstate.com. Until next time, I'm Kate Cherichello Tente, and this was A Dose of Health from Healthy in the Garden State.